Today I'm going to talk about FinaCARD beddings, and the first thing I want to do is to confirm the pronunciation of the name. It's not FinaCARD, it is FinaCARD, which represents finely shredded card. Now, Dilip from FinaCARD has confirmed that this is the correct pronunciation, so it's official, it's FinaCARD. Now, I owe Dilip an apology. When I made my bedding test video, I missed out the Papelit Paper Pellets, and I also thought that the FinaCARD was used card. Now, there was a big gap between collecting my information and making the final video, but that's not really a very good excuse. I'd previously talked to Dilip about the Softnest paper, and I should have really confirmed all of my information with him. And he also told me you can request FinaCARD in all brown packs without any coloured bits, so this did change my thoughts about the beddings we tested. Now, all of the beddings from the test are safe, and we've tried many different beddings over the last 17 years in our quest to find really good quality safe bedding for our rats. And we're pleased to announce that with FinaCARD we can actually buy all of our beddings from the one company and not have to look around and search in different places. The beddings are clean, safe, environmentally friendly and good value for money, so they're liked by the humans and the rats in our family-based rat rescue, and it's very important to us that the rats are safe and happy. FinaCARD is a UK-based company. They deliver free to most UK mainland addresses. Their beddings are all biodegradable and they can be composted. They're 100% free from additives, so there are no nasty chemicals or fragrances. Dust is extracted and there are no nasty odours from any of the products. And very important, the FinaCARD products do not create any dust when you're using them in your cages, so they're especially kind to your rat's sensitive nose and lungs. All the products are made from 100% recycled materials, so they're also environmentally friendly. And if you go to the website, you'll see that the products are available in different sizes. You can buy a bundle for rats with samples of each of the different beddings, so you don't have to commit yourself to buying a large quantity before you've actually tried the beddings yourself. The products are well packaged for transport, helping to ensure they arrive safely, and I was very impressed with the packing on my parcel. And you can have your bedding delivered to your door or left in a safe place or with a neighbour, so you don't have to wait at home for your parcel to arrive. Now, the actual beddings we have here the FinaCARD all brown, so I'm going to talk about that first. This would have been my favourite card bedding if I'd known it was available in all brown packs when we did the test. It's definitely the softest of the card beddings, and we now have a large bale of it for our rats. The FinaCARD makes a lovely soft warm bedding. It's very springy and bouncy, and it makes a really comfortable and safe bed for the rats, especially for rats that like to jump from the platforms rather than use the ladders. And you can see that the card is in different shapes. It's not all the same size and shape, so it's a very natural looking bedding, and also it's nice for the rats to have different sizes of card to pick up in their mouths and move about from place to place. Now, it's all clean, unused card. The dust is extracted, it's fluffed up, making it extra soft and easy to remove from the bale. And we found it's also easier to compact this bedding for disposal if you have to put your used bedding into the rubbish collection rather than composting it. A big advantage to using the FinaCARD is that it doesn't create any dust in your cage, so it's not going to cause irritation to your rat's sensitive nose and lungs. And I also find I have asthma, and it doesn't cause me any problems either. The FinaCARD is very absorbent. It holds its shape when it's wet, so it's easy to spot clean the cage. And another good thing about the FinaCARD is it's ideal for burrowing, so you can scatter feed your rats. Now, scatter feeding gives your rats the opportunity to follow their natural instinct to hunt for their food. Your rats will get a lot of enjoyment from this, and so will you, because it's fun to watch your rats having fun. You should always have a bowl of food in your cage as well, and you should make sure that any stale food is removed from the bedding regularly. And for this reason, it's best to use dry foods for scatter feeding, and if you vary the foods that you put into the bedding, it adds an extra fun element for your rats. Scatter feeding also encourages your rats to keep active. It provides more exercise than a simple stroll to the food bowl. And we've found that the FinaCARD is also ideal for hiding small toys and chews for your rats to find. And whenever we do a big weekly clean of our cage, the rats know that when they go back in, there's going to be lots of little treats and food and toys hidden in the bedding. Now we come to my absolute favourite paper bedding ever, and I don't think anyone can improve on this bedding. This is the Softnest Standard Shredded Paper. Now, as I mentioned in the bedding test, the Softnest Standard Shredded Paper wool is my absolute favourite. It's the softest and the easiest to separate. Very easy to tear into smaller pieces, which is very important, especially for young baby rats or old and sick rats. And with all rats, you should never have really long strands of bedding. It should always be pulled into smaller bits. The Softnest Standard not only provides a lovely soft nest and a cosy bed for your rats, but it also has great play value. Your rats will spend what seems like hours moving their bed and their paper around and rearranging everything. So it's a really lovely bedding for them to play with because it is so soft. And the Softnest doesn't break down when it's wet, so it's not going to go all soggy and horrible. And it's very easy to remove any wet paper daily just to keep your rat's bed very comfortable and hygienic. And here we have the Softnest Flakes. Now they're basically the same as the Softnest Standard, but much smaller bits. Now, we prefer not to use the flakes for our adult rats, but that is only because our rats make a terrible mess with them and they end up all over the floor. I think the flakes would be good for young rats as a soft base for their bed. But I think with them, if you're using the flakes, it's nice to have some shredded paper on the top, but for young rats to make the paper very small pieces, a bit bigger than the flakes, but not as long as the big strands. And the reason I like to have the shredded paper on top is because rats like to burrow under their bedding and they like to feel safe and secure. So it's not so easy to burrow right under the flakes, but it's very easy for the rats to burrow into the Softnest Standard. And here we have the Papelit Paper Pellets, the ones that I forgot to test. I'm very disappointed with myself for not testing them because they've come out really well on our current test. So I think I may have missed them because they were listed as cat litter, and you may know how much I dislike cat litters because most of them contain additives that are harmful to rats. But anyway, Dilip has been very forgiving of my mistake and kindly sent me a sample to test. The Papelit Paper Pellets are 100% recycled paper with no additives, so they're very safe and non-toxic. They're organic and biodegradable, and they don't create any dust in your cage. Papelit states it's able to absorb over 3 times its weight in moisture, and we can confirm that Papelit is indeed extremely absorbent. During our own water test, it kept its shape really well, making it very easy to remove the wet litter from the cage daily. And I'm just going to show you here. This is a little pot here. You can see the pellets are slightly darker than the ones in the cage, and this is because they've been soaking in water for 24 hours. And this one here is very wet, and you can see I can squeeze it. It hasn't swollen up, but it has absorbed lots of water. There's no little bits coming off it, no dust. They're really quite incredible. And because Papelit has very good odour control, it makes it absolutely ideal for your litter trays. Now, rats can usually be litter trained quite easily. It's much easier to litter train your rats if the litter in the tray is different to the substrate bedding. The litter in the tray should always be replaced daily, even if your rats are litter trained. Now, our girls all litter trained very quickly, but if, however, you have a group of rats like one of our groups of males that we used to have, who absolutely insist on using the whole cage as a toilet, then the Papelit pellets would be an excellent substrate bedding to help keep your cage smelling fresh. But if you don't litter train your rats, you are going to have to clean the whole cage far more often than if you actually train your rats to use a litter tray. But I'm really happy to report that the Papelit tested so well compared to all the other pellets we've tested, and a really big advantage is that the cost is lower, so you will save money. Now, as you know, I'm never influenced by other people's opinions or by freebies. You could give me hundreds of pounds worth of freebies, but if I don't like the product, I'm not going to use it in my cage. If it's not safe for the rats, I'm not going to use it, and I'm certainly not going to make a video unless I believe 100% in the product. So I will only recommend things, either products or services that I've tested and I'm really happy to use. So they have to be safe for rats, dust-free, additive-free and free of any nasty odours. The bedding has to arrive in a clean, uncontaminated condition without any damage to the inner bag. It really is convenient to be able to get all of your bedding from the same company, so you save lots of time on internet searches and travelling from place to place. So I'm really happy to recommend the FinaCARD bedding for your rats and other small animals, and we're definitely going to be using the FinaCARD, the Softnest Standard and the Papelit Paper Pellets in all of our cages, and we're going to bear in mind the Softnest Flakes if we have small babies again. Now Dilip's been extremely helpful and polite with all of my inquiries, and it's really good to know that when you contact a company that someone is actually going to get back to you and answer your questions. So that's a very positive note for FinaCARD, that they will actually reply to you and answer the questions, and you know that you're talking to somebody rather than just left hanging on, not knowing what to do or whether this product is good for you. So if you do have any further questions, contact FinaCARD for details. All their contact details can be found on their website and on their Facebook page. And remember, FinaCARD is also available from Rat Rations.
Hey baby, hey Lara, and there's Violet. Now here we've got two of our girls in the spare cage, and this is our third class Mary cage, and we're just cleaning out the rats, and this is the best time for me to actually show you them where they're searching for food inside the bedding. Now remember always to attach fresh water to your cages, but what we do in our spare cage is we have the pellets, the Papelit pellets in one corner for a toilet corner. The main part of the cage will have the FinaCARD bedding, and then we have the shredded Softnest paper over in this corner in case the rats want to go to sleep. And you can see Violet here has found some food. Now scattered amongst the bedding we've got some rat nuggets, and we've got some mealworms and one or two other tasty little dried foods suitable for rats. And I'm very surprised actually, Lara's very excited because the cat, oh there she goes, she's foraging and searching, she's found something. Now this is really fun for the rats. Now she's digging around, she's found something in there. Wow, good girl, what did you find? And as I mentioned earlier, this bedding is absolutely perfect for scatter feeding. So it's very hard for me to film the girls when they keep moving about. Let's see if I can move my camera around. Hello? Oh, there she is, going into the bedding. That's what I mean about burrowing in the bedding. The rats love to burrow in the bedding. Is that fun? Is that fun? Yes. I didn't actually put any food in the bedding, but Lara likes to get down there and have a look. So you can see how much the rats actually enjoy the bedding. Now, as I've mentioned frequently, when I'm filming products, I film in a different location to my rat cages. So you won't see the girls in their big cage, but they do live in a Savic Royal Suite 95 cage, which they absolutely love. But it's a big cage. It takes me a couple of hours to actually clean the cage out, so they spend that 2 hours safely into their little spare cage.